Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Morning Tea. My name is Wahima, but just call me Wah. Today's tea is Iced Gypsy Rose Tea by the Mountain Witch Tea Company. Whoa. Melanated. Well, now you know there's not tea in there. So, there was tea though. There usually is tea. I'm not a fraud. Today I wanted to talk about two things. It's not like it's a slow week. There's current events to talk about, but there are two things that are really jumping out at me this week that I've done the most research on, and so I feel the most comfortable talking about. And then there's one thing that I still would like to say, that the Flint water crisis is crazy, and it is an actual crisis that's happening, and I'm so overwhelmed by it. But I'm going to do more research on that and report on that later and talk to you guys about that in a separate video because I think it deserves its own video. Okay, so today I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about the Iowa caucus, and I want to talk about Boko Haram. Okay, so let's talk about the Iowa caucus. So, as we all know by now, Ted Cruz won for the Republicans. Hillary Clinton won for the Democrats, which is crazy because the difference between Hillary and Sanders is like ridiculous. Hillary Clinton won with 49.9% of the vote, and Bernie Sanders won with 49.6% of the vote. So she got 23 delegates and he got 21 by 2 delegates. That is so close. It's exciting, yet it's like nerve-wracking. Okay, so let me just give you guys a little bit of background information as fast as I can. A caucus is the same thing as a primary. Some states do caucuses, some states do primaries. The difference between the two: a caucus is like a town hall meeting where you get all the people together in like a school gymnasium or a town hall, and you guys talk about the process openly. You say who you're going to vote for, and like the people stand in certain areas for certain candidates. Okay, a primary is what California state has, where it's a secret ballot, where you go in and you're handed a ballot, you go into a little booth and you check off the person you want, and you hand it in and it's tallied. Okay, that's the only difference. Caucus sounds like it's so much more like down home fun. Primary seems a little boring, but you know, whatever, it works, right? Okay, so there's also some issue running behind Iowa being the first state. Usually, and not always, but sometimes in like past history, winning Iowa usually meant that you did very well for the rest of your bid for the nomination. So it's important that Iowa like kicks it off. It starts off the caucuses and the primaries until we can find our nominee for whatever party. So, I lost my train of thought. I hope I can come back to it. I'm so sorry I lost my train of thought. Okay, so delegates. Now, delegates are like playing cards, right? It's like the dealer is the DNC, and they're just handing cards to who's ever sitting down at the table, usually Republican or Democratic, right? And so like as you get the popular vote, then you're handed delegates, you're handed cards. And so there's about like 3,250 something delegates that are elected or appointed. And so they are elected or appointed as a Democratic delegate or a Republican delegate. Now there's super delegates. Super delegates are special people because they're not elected. They're like former presidents, congressmen, like governors and important party people, right? And so their vote can be swayed. They can vote whatever they want. So it's like 800 of them, and they're like wild cards in this little situation. So the candidates that the DNC put forth, like the DNC, okay, let's talk about that. So the DNC is the Democratic National Committee / Convention. Basically, they're like the PTA of the Democratic Party. You know, they try to like bring together the party and choose the nominee and support the nominee, and it's like, you know, like they're the ones who put on the show of the Democrats political show. They're the one they're the PTA. Okay, so and that's all a separate entity than government. They're filled with government officials and government people, but they're not a part of the government. The government doesn't have control over them. Okay, so getting back to my original thing. So Iowa, the reason why Iowa is like such a big deal is because it kicks it off. But the problem is that most people feel like Iowa does not, not most people, some people feel that Iowa does not represent the country. So just because you win in Iowa doesn't mean you're going to win in, say, California, New York, or Chicago, or Illinois, or somewhere else. You know, because they don't represent, they're not the same. They're mainly Christian, middle class, cis, heterosexual white people. So like they're a niche, So it's always really interesting to see like how it changes and the demographic of the people who are voting And it's like often said that the reason why when a Republican wins is because voter turnout is low, and when a Democrat wins is because voter turnout is high, or voters who would normally not vote come to the polls to vote. And so it's like kind of exciting. I'm not even talking about the Republicans, like who cares? Ted Cruz won. Trump was in second. Trump was like, you know, annoyed by it or whatever because I guess he thought he would win. I don't know who the lesser evil is, honestly. Like I can't. I'll try to keep you guys updated on the primary and caucuses that come. The next one is New Hampshire, and it ends mid-June, I believe. Yeah, it ends mid-June, I think, and that's the last primary. Then everything gets tallied up, and depending on how many delegates you have at the end, that tells you if you're going to be the nominee or not. So I'm hoping that Bernie gets the most delegates. Great. Okay, so Boko Haram. I have so many feelings about it because it's happening, it's raging, and then like, you know, Obama gets blamed for not doing more, but then we have to deal with ISIS, and it's like all of it comes down to money and where our money is stored. Boko Haram, they've killed more than ISIS or ISIL. They've you know, said, oh, we're connected to Al-Qaeda. You know, they have like a partnership with ISIS right now, but they are terrorizing the people of Northeast Nigeria, some peoples in Chad and Cameroon. They are terrorizing people and killing people. And it's like no one can do anything about it, especially not the bloody Nigerian government. Like, what's going on in Nigeria? I thought Nigeria was more like, I don't know. I didn't think this could happen in Nigeria. I thought they were more like put together. And it's like, it just seems like there's just like such a hotbed of corruption that it's really hard to break the cycle of corruption. This group is able to form and become like such a sect and kill so many people. Just kill so many people. They killed 600 and something people alone in the year 2014. I mean, just the raids on these small towns and killing, and just last week they like killed 86 or 87 people in a town. They went through and slaughtered, and they set houses on fire, and they did all kinds of like horrendous things. And it's like, I don't blame the United States for like not, you know, running into the fight, because I feel like we're fighting too many wars. Like, we're in Afghanistan still fighting, and then we have, you know, this contentious situation between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and then between us and Iran, and then Syria being attacked. It's just, there's so much happening in this world, and it's so much happening that's directly affecting the United States in their pocket and their homeland security. And I don't think the Boko Haram is affecting them that way. But it's like humanitarianly, like, I mean, Obama put, I think, was it 300 soldiers in Cameroon to try to help out, but 300 soldiers is like nothing. Like, this group is terrible, and it's just happening all at the wrong time. Like, we could have, it makes me really sad. But it also makes me mad that like Nigeria can't get, I guess I just was like disappointed in Nigeria. Like I just feel like, how could you let that happen? I don't know. But I don't know about these things, right? So I don't know. But it just makes me mad. It just makes me mad. And I'm like, what is London? I feel like, shouldn't England be doing something? Aren't they like the colonizers? I don't know. Whatever. I can't. I'm just so angry about it. It makes me so mad. And I feel really helpless about that too. This is such a weird morning tea. All right, guys. Well, that's all I'm going to talk about today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you want to add to this conversation, please leave them down below. I am actually going to be out of town for the next couple of days, and so it's going to throw back morning tea for a while. So this might be the last morning tea you see for maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. Sorry. But I'm going to come back, and I'm going to be well informed, and I'm going to talk about things that I find interesting. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. Bye.